Primary voters in West Virginia and Nebraska have made their picks for the midterm ballot this fall, delivering a mixed message about the influence of former President Trump on the Republican Party. In West Virginia's 2nd District, ABC News projects Trump's pick, Congressman Alex Mooney, has the votes over the more moderate Congressman David McKinley, who was backed by the state's governor and Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. While in Nebraska, ABC News projects Jim Pillen as the winner over Charles Herbster, who Trump campaigned for. Let's bring in ABC political director Rick Klein for more on this. Rick, what do you think these results say about Trump's influence over the Republican Party?
It is a split decision. 2 red states, both places that went overwhelmingly for President Trump, where he's still very popular in the Republican Party, with a difference of opinion. In West Virginia, you have him backing a candidate in a member-on-member primary, a very rare event, and choosing the right person, choosing someone who came out on top and was able to prevail over someone who's been more skeptical of some Trump claims. He's among those who will not buy into the lies about the last election, for instance, but Trump prevails. Nebraska, a much different story. You had an ethically challenged candidate that the former president backed, someone that had multiple allegations of groping leveled against him by women. Trump stood by him, but you had the Republican establishment there say thanks but no thanks, and they rose up and supported other candidates, including the one who ended up being victorious. So I think for people that are looking for clues about the future of the Republican Party, you have to say Trump is still influential, but his is not the only word that matters.
So what do you make of Charles Herbster's defeat? Does it indicate that Trump may have less sway over Nebraska Republicans, or is this about this candidate and this office?
I think this candidate in this office brought its own issues. The fact that you had so many allegations out there, including from some Republicans, including one current state senator in Nebraska, saying this about Mr. Herbster, made it hard for him to turn the tables and to try to do, frankly, what Trump has often done when allegations are hurled against him, to make it about a witch hunt or about the media or about conservatives being under attack. People just didn't buy it, or not enough people bought it. He still got a sizable chunk of vote, but he ended up fading down the stretch when you had a lot of Republicans in Nebraska and some Democrats who probably changed their registration specifically to vote against him. We've seen this happen before in places like Alabama, where Trump's pick went down in flames back in the Senate races during his time in the presidency, that even when he is out there and it seems like there's a rallying behind his person, there is such a thing as too far when you have someone like a Herbster, like a Roy Moore, who brings just too much baggage for Republican voters to bear.
Now, the race for West Virginia's 2nd District was between 2 incumbent congressmen because the state lost a district. David McKinley voted with Democrats on the bipartisan infrastructure deal and in support of the bipartisan commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He's now losing his seat to Trump's pick, Congressman Alex Mooney. Do you expect this will be a trend with moderates losing to more extreme candidates?
There aren't that many races, frankly, just like this, where you've got a member-on-member primary. But to the extent that you have someone who's trying to bring the bridge-building consensus, one of the things that McKinley had a reputation for, yes, the infrastructure bill, but voting for a lot of, frankly, pork barrel spending that brings the bacon back to West Virginia. That style of politics has been popular for a long time. It may be less so in the Trump era, where what matters more is allegiance to the former president, that bombastic attitude that you have. What's interesting is that the new district actually was more like McKinley's district than his opponent, and still you had Trump's guy able to come in there and take on a lot of new voters and make the case that because he is Trumpy, he is able to win the primary. And I think most primaries that we'll see are going to have some variety of that, and you're going to have a lot of moderates who are going to have a hard time making the argument for their style of politics in today's Republican Party.
Now, one of the trends we are also seeing is some Republicans spending big money on non-Trump picks. Do you see that spending having much of an impact?
Yeah, well, look, I think the big money probably didn't sway Nebraska by itself, but we are starting to see some big investments in other places. Just today, the announcement from the Club for Growth, one of the biggest outside groups in the country, often aligned with Trump. They've actually picked someone else in the Pennsylvania Senate race, Kathy Barnett, instead of Dr. Oz, who is Trump's choice. That, to me, is a pretty big signal about where the money in the Republican Party is going, following where their donors are, following where they feel like their best bets might be. There's a growing concern in Republican circles that Trump's choices won't necessarily give the party the best shot to win races in November.
All right, Rick Klein, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.